Welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi. Here are the headlines. Qatar and India review ties for exponential growth. Residents in Pakistan protest rising inflation after government hikes fuel prices. And Hindu devotees in India mark Ganga Dashera festival with fervour. Let's begin the show. India's growing bilateral ties with Qatar. During the recent official visit of Indian Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu to Qatar, he met with the host country's PM Sheikh Khalid bin Khalifa bin Abdul Aziz Al Thani. New Delhi and Doha reviewed the growing bilateral ties in areas like trade, investment, economic and security cooperation. Both the countries agreed that there is a huge potential to diversify trade and have comprehensive energy partnership and a mutually beneficial investment cooperation between the two. Have a look.
Indian Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on his last leg of a three-day tour reached Doha to further emphasize on the deepening India-Qatar relations. The Vice President met Qatar's Prime Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Khalifa bin Abdulaziz Al Thani, and the two leaders reviewed the growing bilateral ties between the both countries in areas like trade, investment, economic and security cooperation. Naidu lauded the increasing bilateral trade between New Delhi and Doha and informed that the bilateral trade crossed $15 billion during 2021 to 2022.
That the bilateral trade between India and Qatar has seen steady progress. During 2021-22, the bilateral trade crossed $15 billion. Remarkable progress. It is a new milestone. Currently, the trade is naturally dominated by the energy. Our focus is now on to expand and diversify the trade barrier. Basket. Come out of that barrier and enrich the basket. We have also been seeing an increase in the number of registered Indian business in Qatar, which has crossed 15,000. More than 100 businesses are registered with Qatar Financial Center and in Qatar Free Zone 2. This provides a strong foundation for realizing the potential in our bilateral trade and economic ties.
During the official visit, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu launched the India-Qatar Startup Bridge, an initiative to link the startup ecosystems of the two countries and help the economies mutually. Addressing the India-Qatar Business Forum, he highlighted the strength of bilateral ties and called for building an enabling environment and forging more collaboration for mutual benefit. Manufacturing capacities have also been expanding in various sectors, including solar modules and telecom conductors, with a $26 billion investment. Leading businessmen from both India and Qatar participated in the business forum. Qatar's FDI in India is over $450 million, and there is a great potential for increasing these investments.
Honorable Vice President reiterated the high importance attached by India to close and friendly relations with Qatar and the commitment to deepen our close and friendly relationship and multifaceted bilateral cooperation in trade, investment, energy, food security, defense, technology, culture, education, health, media and people-to-people contacts.
Qatar is home to 630,000 Indian nationals, the single largest group of migrants in the country of 2 million. The peninsular Arab country is an important part for India, with bilateral trade in 2021 to 2022 exceeding $15 billion according to the Indian government. It is also one of India's key sources of crude oil. Qatar and India trade is set to witness exponential growth in the coming years.
Moving on to news from Pakistan, where people have taken to streets against skyrocketing inflation rate. A number of them gathered in Islamabad and chanted anti-government slogans against a sudden spike in the fuel prices and power tariffs. Daily essential items have become out of reach of the local people. In such a scenario, people have lost all their faith in the Pakistani government.
Hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Pakistan's capital city of Islamabad to protest against the rising price of daily essentials items including fuel. While condemning the rising inflation, the protesters also demanded a fixed power tariff. They carried placards and banners and shouted the slogans "No to imported government" and "Purchase petrol from Russia," blaming the Pakistani government for the unprecedented rise in the inflation rate. Demonstrators say that the federal and provincial governments should control the price rise of essential commodities in addition to the rising fare of public transportation.
पेट्रोल भरने से सब कुछ महंगा होता है तो अब सब कुछ महंगा होएगा। घी महंगा हो गया, लोगों ने लोग खाना बनाना भी बंद कर दे। लोगों ने खाना तो बनाना है। पेट्रोल का क्या, पेट्रोल इतना महंगा कर दिया, आम आवाम के बस की बात ही नहीं रही। लोग क्या करेंगे? लोग खुदकुशियां करेंगे, डाके डालेंगे, इसी तरह चोरियां होंगी सरेआम।
3.5 साल में पेट्रोल की कीमत 54 रुपए बढ़ी है, सिर्फ 3.5 साल में। और ये एक हफ्ते में पेट्रोल की कीमत 60 रुपए बढ़ गई है, जिसकी हम पुरजोर मजम्मत करते हैं और अल्लाह ताला के हजूर दुआ गो हैं कि ऐसे हुक्मरानों से हमें वही नजात, वही खलासी दे सकता है।
Inflation has reached its peak in more than 5 years in Pakistan. Adding to the woes, the country's finance minister Miftah Ismail said Pakistan would continue to slash fuel subsidies in a bid to control the fiscal deficit and secure International Monetary Fund bailout money. The government had already made changes in price twice in a week before he made the statement. Consumer Price Index inflation rose to 13.8% in May, year on year, the highest in 2.5 years. The poor are literally reduced to being the picture of pity looking up to the authorities with high hopes that their big claims are implemented too as they continue to live a very tough day-to-day life. Accusing the government of turning a blind eye to people's plight, locals say that it is the commoners who are bearing the brunt of rising inflation and the top leadership, which had vowed to lead a life of austerity, is wallowing in luxury.
एक के बाद एक पेट्रोल बम गिराया जा रहा है और जिस तरीके के साथ तमाम चीज़ें महंगी हो रही हैं और आप यकीन करें एक आम आदमी, एक गरीब आदमी जो है वो पिस के रह गया है। और ना सिर्फ एक गरीब आदमी बल्कि मैं सोचती हूँ कि मिडिल क्लास जो है इस वक्त उसको दीवार से लगा दिया गया है।
The country's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif defended his government decision, saying that hiking fuel prices was inevitable in order to protect the country from bankruptcy. He also said the decision was taken as the country is witnessing a difficult economic situation.
दुनिया में पेट्रोल और डीजल की कीमतें आसमान को छू रही हैं। तेल पैदा करने वाले मुल्कों से लेकर तरक्की याफ्ता ममालिक समेत सब इस शदीद माशी सूरत हाल से दो चार हैं, लेकिन साबिक हुकूमत ने अपने सियासी फ़ायदे के लिए सब्सिडी का ऐलान कर दिया, जिसकी कौमी ख़जाने में कोई गुंजाइश नहीं थी। हमने अपने सियासी मफाद को कौमी मफाद पर कुर्बान करना कौमी फ़र्ज जाना, क्योंकि ये फैसला पाकिस्तान को माशी दिवालियापन से बचाने के लिए नागुज़ीर था।
The price hike has been the main issue between Pakistan and the International Monetary Fund to reduce the fiscal deficit before the annual budget is presented later this month. According to a Pakistani source directly involved in talks in Qatar, the IMF and Islamabad had reached a deal to release over $900 million in funds once Pakistan removed the fuel subsidies. Ousted Prime Minister Imran Khan had given the subsidy in his last days in power to cool down public sentiment in the face of double-digit inflation.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
Authorities in Nepal deployed security forces to clear the garbage collected from the Kathmandu Valley as their agreement with the local residents of Sisdol in Novakot faced hurdles. Residents of Sisdol and the authorities on Monday had reached an agreement which was expected to give relief to Kathmandu residents as garbage had accumulated for a month. But later the local protested and rejected the term of the agreement. As per the agreement, the Ministry of Urban Development has allocated Rs 425 million for river control work, construction of community buildings, temples and a tree plantation program. It was agreed to spend a total of Rs 21.2 million on this. After receiving the report of environmental impact assessment regarding the land acquisition, it was agreed to start the process of acquisition by identifying the land to be acquired on the basis of that report. It has been agreed to continue the grant provided in the past for the infrastructure development of the affected areas. The city has also announced that it will segregate solid waste as biodegradable and non-biodegradable at the source itself starting June 15th. Kathmandu on daily basis produces about 1200 metric tons of waste either from businesses or households, which has continued to pile up in the streets, increasing the risk of the outbreak of the pandemic. Local authorities in South China's Guangdong and Guangxi have stepped up emergency response efforts, including issuing water traffic control measures and evacuating affected residents after torrential rains drenched large parts of the two regions. In Shangon city of Guangdong, the red alert for heavy rains was issued on Monday, the most severe in the country's 4-tier color-coded weather warning system, followed by orange, yellow and blue. Heavy rainfall has led to severe flooding in Maba township of Kujiang district, flooding many houses and trapping residents. Local firefighter and rescuers were immediately dispatched and divided into multiple teams to evacuate the trapped residents. In a house, the yard and the first floor have been flooded. The water inside the house was more than 1 meter deep and a large amount of furniture and debris were floating up. The family was trapped on the second floor of the house, including an infant and the elderly. In the lower reaches of Maba River, a house collapsed after prolonged flooding. As the emergency boats could not reach the house where the residents were trapped, the rescuers had to climb over collapsed walls to guide the trapped villagers to safety. Maritime authorities will pay close attention to changes in water levels and inspect ships in their jurisdiction. Japanese company Rinnai announced the launch of its home hot water heater, which utilizes modern technology that burns hydrogen as an energy resource. It is the first water of its kind. For the event, a press conference was held at Rinnai Technical Center in Nagoya, Japan. With the motive of making all its products carbon neutral, Rinnai declared its Rinnai Innovation Manifesto 2050. Rinnai analyzes its all products which emit 1.5% of Japan's CO2 emission.
カーボンニュートラル宣言ということです。林内イノベーションマニフェスト2050の商品開発から製造販売における変革によりまして、従来の事業領域の枠を超えてですね、脱炭素社会実現への貢献を目指すというものであります。
Rinnai articulates to develop carbon zero hot water heater. Hydrogen is a gas that burns easily. Rinnai succeeded in developing hydrogen water heaters with the knowledge gained from Rinnai's long history. Hydrogen does not turn into carbon dioxide after burning. Demonstration released to the press shows that there is a colorless flame peculiar to hydrogen. Hydrogen doesn't turn into carbon dioxide after it gets burned. Rinnai has started demonstration experiment of hydrogen fuel hot water heater in Australia. It aims to complete and prepare shipping to the market. Rinnai is aware of one subject, it is hydrogen supply facility. To expand market, it is an integral issue. Rinnai Technology hopes that companies and countries all over the world will work towards the direction of producing carbon neutral products. Automobile manufacturer firms participated in an exhibition to learn about the future of automobile industry. Japanese company Nippon Steel produced a number of automotive parts.
鉄鋼メーカーとしていわゆる鉄鋼製造におけるゼロカーボンこれを目指していくというものづくりでのいわゆるカーボンニュートラルへの取り組み、もう一つが社会における温暖化ガスをいわゆる削減するこれへの取り組みですねを大きく2本柱で取り組んでおります。 NSF オートコンセプト XEV というものはいわゆる軽量素材を用い車のボディを極面まで軽くするというものと合わせてですね、EV 用ということで、モーター用の電磁鋼板あるいは電池用ですね、これを鉄でいかに軽く提案するかというところをまとめたものが後ろに展示しているものでございます。我々は自動車メーカーさんと長いお付き合いがございまして、その中で培いましたいろんな製造における、鉄作りの製造のノウハウもございますが、いわゆる部品作りにおけるいろんなノウハウも持ってございます。その中で強度の高い材料をただ提供するというだけではなくて、その材料を使いこなすための構造、あるいは工法、あるいはその出来上がった部品の評価まで含めた、一連のものを合わせてお客様に提供するということで、今後ろに提案してます NSF オートコンセプトを実現できればというふうに考えています。
Nissan has declared Nissan Ambition 2030 to depict the future image of mobility, introducing initiatives in electric vehicles, the latest electric motor and driving support technology. Japan is famous for its automobile technology. The technology of Japanese automakers and parts manufacturers will contribute to the world's automotive society with clean environment.
Moving on to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which witnessed massive outrage before the presenting of the annual budget, as the government is planning on cutting down its huge chunk from the share. In the financial budget that is likely to see a reduction of 16 billion Pakistani rupees, it is the people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir who will be affected the most. Observers say this will worsen the livelihood of the people living in the area. We have a report.
Massive outrage is pouring out in the illegally occupied POK in the run-up to the presenting of the annual budget in Pakistan, as the government is planning on cutting down a massive chunk from the share of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. In the budget that is likely to see a reduction of 16 billion Pakistani rupees, it is the people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir who will be affected the most. Historically, the annual budgets in Pakistan carve out 3.64% of the total outlay to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. But this time, the allocation of even that meager sum is in jeopardy. Political observers say that this will further deteriorate the living standards of the people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
पहली दफ़ा ये हुआ है कि हमारे बजट में पिछले 70 सालों में पहली दफ़ा हमारे ऑन गोइंग जो बजट होता है फिजिकल ईयर का, उसमें से 14 बिलियन रुपीस की कटौती कर दी गई है। यानी जो 2022-2023 का जो बजट है हमारा, वो बजट कहाँ से आता है? वो बजट हमारा जो शेयर है पाकिस्तान के फेडरल टैक्स पूल में, उसमें हमारा सिर्फ 3.64% हिस्सा होता है। वहाँ से वो हमारा जो है वो पीओजेके का जो है बजट वो दिया जाता है हमें। हमारे पास पीओजेके में कोई ऐसा सिस्टम नहीं है कि ये जो बजट में 14 बिलियन रुपया काट रहे हैं उसको हम पीओजेके में से पैदा कर सकें, क्योंकि पीओजेके में ना इन्होंने कोई इंडस्ट्री लगने दी है, ना एग्रीकल्चर को डेवलप होने दिया है, ना टूरिज़्म को डेवलप होने दिया है, ना किसी बिज़नेस को डेवलप होने दिया है। तो हमारा जो लोकल पीओजेके का जो रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन है वो तकरीबन ज़ीरो है। उसकी बुनियाद पे हम पीओजेके को नहीं चला सकते। इन्होंने हमें एक कॉलोनी बना के मुकम्मल तौर पर जो है वो पाकिस्तान का डिपेंडेंट किया हुआ है।
Some say it is the result of the murky political battles between the incumbent authorities in Islamabad, who are led by Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, and government of Pakistan occupied Kashmir that is led by ousted Prime Minister Imran Khan's party PTI. And this is taking a massive toll on the people of Pakistan occupied Kashmir. they are finding it hard to make even their ends meet.
जो साबिक MLA है 1.5 लाख वो पेंशन लेते हैं, साबिक प्राइम मिनिस्टर 17 लाख रुपया महीना लेता है। वो ख़त्म करके आम आदमी के लिए कोई ऐसा पॉलिसी बनाई जाए जिसको गरीब आदमी को उनको कोई फ़ायदा हो। अब आम आदमी जो है बेचारा 1000 रुपये मजदूरी उसको दिहाड़ी नहीं मिलती, शाम को वो अपने बच्चों को क्या खिलाएगा, उसको कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है।
Others, however, are of the opinion that this huge deduction in the budget outlay for people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir comes in line with Pakistan's systemic discrimination towards the people of the region. While they say they have come to terms with Pakistan's decades-long discriminatory attitude towards them, any further decline in the situation is only going to push them towards doom.
Moving on to our cultural section of the show, where we take you to various Indian temple towns of Varanasi, Haridwar and Prayagraj, where Hindu devotees gathered at ghats to celebrate the most auspicious annual Ganga Dashera festival with religious fervour and gaiety. On the auspicious occasion, devotees take holy dip in the river and offer prayers to goddess Ganga. As per the Hindu mythology, rivers are considered as goddesses. Take a look.
Scores of Hindu devotees thronged at the ghats of River Ganga in India's various pilgrimage sites, where they took a dip and offered prayers to celebrate the festival of Ganga Dashera that marks the descent of the holy river from heaven on earth. Regarded as a celestial river of Hindus originating in the heavens, the legends holds that Ganga was gifted to mankind in response to the great penance undertaken by King Bhagirath, after whom she is also called Bhagirathi. The descendant of the legendary Ikshvaku dynasty had prayed to Ganga to land on earth and bring life. He extensively worshipped Lord Brahma, praying for his ancestors' souls to be relieved of their previous curses. On the occasion, devotees performed rituals and prayed to mark the special occasion in various temple towns of Haridwar, Varanasi and Prayagraj.
आज गंगा दशहरा है। आज के दिन पहाड़ों से गंगा जी आई थी। ये से लोग बहुत अच्छे दूर दूर से मनाने आते हैं। आज के दिन जो दान पुण्य करता है उसके लिए बहुत ही सौभाग्यशाली है। लोगों के दुख दर्द कष्ट दूर हो जाते हैं।
India's central Madhya Pradesh state came alive with marigold flowers showered as ash-smeared ascetics, and locals rejoiced by worshipping of goddess Ganga. It is believed that those who offer prayer on this day, they attain salvation from 10 sins and purify souls. Every year, pilgrims from all over India take part in the festival and bathe in the holy river in large numbers.
भागीरथी ने अथक प्रयास करके माँ गंगा को आज के दिन पृथ्वी यानी इतनी उन्होंने भगवान की भजन किया, गंगा जो आत्मा आना ही पड़ा। अब आज वो पूरे भारत के अंदर में गंगा जी नीचे आने का सब लोग जितने प्राणी मात्र हैं उनका उत्सव महोत्सव मना रहे हैं।
The Ganga is considered holy river and is worshipped by Hindus, who make up to 80% of India's 1.3 billion people. They call it Ganga Mata or Mother Ganga and believe a dip in the river absolves a lifetime of sins. The Ganga Dashera festival reflects the variety of rich culture of India. Such festivals share values, goals and practices that symbolize uniqueness of Indian culture.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.